Alright, this is new amp day. You don't see many of these, really. It's a Randall Rba-500. In this current configuration, I got it piggybacking off of my Keys cab. Basically, I replaced the head that's in it right now with this thing, using a speaker cable running out of the back of that into the speaker jack that's on the combo. This thing is 300 watts on each output at 4 ohms, and it's 500 watts at 2 ohms. It's got an effects loop, a signal output, and a jack for your graphic foot switch. What the graphic foot switch does is it turns this thing on and off with the tabs. I've heard RF1 foot switches work with these. I don't know, I'll have to get one and see if it does work. The amp comes with it turned on, so really you're not losing anything. If you don't have the foot switch, you can just level everything out if you don't want to use it. Alright, it's got the same old two-way on, or a three-way switch, bottom and top being on. This is so you can do the polarity thing. I explained it in my other Randall combo video. And then off is for off, obviously. Might as well just turn it on. Your on switch, and this says the graphic equalizer is on. The graphic equalizer is one at 80 Hz, one at 200 Hz, one at 700 Hz, one at 3.5 kHz, and 8 kHz, with a plus or minus of 15 decibels. Blah blah blah. This thing is stupid loud. Like, it really is. It's got to be way more than 300 watts. This is a 4-ohm cab, and it's already louder than the 350 watt head that's in it already, and it's only pushing 300, so it says. This thing was made in the early 80s, weighs about 40 pounds, solid state, analog, hand wired, all that good stuff. I'm really liking this older Randall stuff. I already have an RB-125 combo that I've had for ever since I started playing bass. It's got a master volume, a bass roll filter. I'll explain what that does, even though I really don't know. Bass knob, middle frequency shift. Is kind of it controls what frequency this thing tunates or boosts. Treble and a gain, plus 2 inputs. I haven't really noticed a difference in impedance between the 2 inputs. Some amps will have an active and a passive input. This one I think just has 2 inputs. So in case one of the wires gets loose during a gig, you're not screwed that night. You can just use the other input. I think that's it for features. Right now it'll do 300 watts at 4 ohms. This thing really isn't in bad shape. It's just kind of rough. There's that. There's that. Just got a little bit of crap on the side, and a little bit of rust on whatever these are. I'm guessing these hold the preamp section up. Look at the wood in this thing. It is ridiculously thick. Compare that to the top of my Key. Yeah. Anyways, we'll have a little bit of a listen. Why not? Hopefully this doesn't end up being a crap ton of fuzz. Master volume at about 3.5, and the gain's at about 2. And of course I would get a text message right when I'm shooting the video. This is with my T40. The middle frequency shift knob, I think I already explained what that does, but just to make sure I'll do it again. This will control which frequency your middle knob actually controls. For those who don't know, bass, well, if you don't know what bass is, you're retarded. I'm sorry, you just are. Mids are basically the voice of your sound. Treble is that high end. Finger noise, clicks, picking, all that good stuff. It's a really solid amp from what I can tell. I mean, they really made this thing to survive a nuclear holocaust. The bass roll filter, I haven't really figured it out yet. My guess is it does something similar to the mid-frequency shift knob. It just has a different name. I could be wrong. I've scoured the internet over and over and over again. I cannot find a stupid manual for one of these. I keep finding the Rba-500 ES head, which is a little bit different. It's got 2 more bands of graphic EQ and probably a little bit more wattage. Not that you would need it, just saying. I'll definitely be using this thing this Saturday. I might not even need to go through the PA, I don't know. We're just playing in a bar, so I don't think I'll need to go through the PA. This thing actually is a little bit too powerful for this cabinet. I'm actually going to have to buy a new, not that I wasn't just going to run it through this stupid thing. The Harkey by itself weighs 108 pounds. I don't need to lug an extra 40 pounds just for sound. To be honest, I already like this head more than my Harkey head, and well, I paid less for this. I paid, well, this thing's worth about 700 to 800 new. I got $250 for this thing. God knows what it went for back in the day. This thing was early 80s, I think, from what the guy told me. It just got here today, so pardon me if I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just using general amplifier knowledge that I know. I'm going to put down the monster bass. Freaking weighs 14 pounds. Much better. But yeah, this is the Randall Rba-500. Good old vintage amplifier, back when they were actually louder than they were rated for. It also has a really weird shutdown sequence. I mean, listen to this. We'll keep going for a little bit, and then we'll shut down. Whatever. My other Randall makes just a thud when you turn it off. And of course, the EQ light just staying on. My Harkey does the same thing. Well, there you go. Randall Rba-500. This will probably be the only video on YouTube of this thing. So, I'll definitely be using this a lot, so you guys can get a good understanding of what they sound like. I'll try and use a different variety of genres and stuff. Sorry about my finger. But yeah, another thing I've noticed, just to add on to this, the EQ for these amps, Randall, in general, their vintage bass amps, is excellent. I mean, you'll never run out of room for adjustment. The graphic EQ, it's really, really, really responsive. I mean, you touch that thing and it goes just a little bit, you'll definitely hear the difference. More than enough treble for live. I mean, you'll definitely hear that high end. And it's very, very warm sounding for solid state. Not that I have a preference over tube or solid state. I definitely like this thing. I don't know. I'm sure if I compared this to an old Ampeg SVT, there wouldn't be any comparison, but this is amazing for now. Alright, I better shut up and stop talking before this thing gets too long to put on YouTube. So, see you later, guys.